In other words, predicting a flop without predicting a flop, and later hedging his bet by saying Nolan's name could sell the film, but that it wouldn't surpass Oppenheimer. It's your bog standard double-speak grift video from Will, playing the plausible deniability game, but nudging and winking just enough so that if this film did flop, he could point and say, "I told you so" about the cast and the dislikes.
A few moments later.
In this screenshot, the Twitter user makes the claim that yellow flash is the only source for the claim that the person in the photo has cancer because Flash apparently met that guy. So this entire time, a guy who has all the incentive to lie is the only source for the claim the man in that photograph has cancer. It would make sense for him to make up a story about cancer to make anyone sharing this image sound worse. Now, I freely admit that's a theory.
You hypocrite dickspot!
Now, I freely admit that's a theory. That is to say, once you fall for the stupidest conspiracy theory, other, more dangerous conspiracies start to make sense to you. You people do not exist in a vacuum. Your idiocy puts everyone else at risk, and you are eligible to vote, which does impact my life.
Very interesting. Go on, I'm listening.
Th3Birdman on Discord. Age is a number. Like, actually, for real, that's what he said. Age is a number.
That's stupid! Use your common sense.
Sorry, this video should have come out a week ago. Because unlike Birdman, I actually have a life. Anyway, this whole video is pathetic Th3Bird coping. But I don't have a lot of time. And new information keeps coming out. So I'm going to try to keep this as short as succinct as I can. And skip to the parts that are especially pathetic.
Drinker had made a video where his main points were that the dislikes on the trailer, which are fake, by the way, somehow reflects a mainstream backlash against the movie and that the casting of certain actors could potentially alienate viewers. In other words, predicting a flop without predicting a flop, and later hedging his bet by saying Nolan's name could sell the film, but that it wouldn't surpass Oppenheimer. It's your bog standard double-speak grift video from Will, playing the plausible deniability game, but nudging and winking just enough so that if this film did flop, he could point and say, "I told you so" about the cast and the dislikes.
Birdman being Birdman. Mahler perfectly sums him up.
If Drinker says nothing, or like forever, they'll be like, it's because of this narrative reason. If he says anything, it'll be because of this reason. If he hates it, it'll be because he's fallen in line with the. And if he loves it, it's like, he's trying to, appeal to. Basically, they have something for everything. There's nothing he could do.
So basically, whatever Drinker says, Birdman will somehow spin it that he's grifting, so he can't win. Again, he's bad faith, which is why Drinker doesn't want to interact with him, other than to call him a loser.
My tweet was in reference to the film receiving rave reviews from the critics and audience and making a boatload of money, defying the core thesis of his video and all other grifter videos on the film.
Yes, everyone who thought The Odyssey was a pile of shit are grifters. Good job, unbiased 140 IQ Gutterbird. Second from all the people I watch, none of them were saying it was going to be a flop. They know Nolan is like Taylor Swift. His fans would eat the corn out of his shit. But that doesn't matter because Birdman is gonna lie, because that's what he does.
This tweet blew up, garnering responses from other grifters and Will himself, all trying to tell me that Will was on vacation and that's why he couldn't tweet. Things that don't make sense, especially given the fact that Will tweets all the time while on vacation. It's obvious that he was hiding from the success of The Odyssey and using the pretense of being on vacation as a reason not to pick up his cell phone and type a couple words.
I think I have the requisite experience and insight to aver that you are and always have been penis cancer in human form.
God, you're such a sad piece of shit. Throwing a tantrum, Drinker actually has a life. Not to mention it doesn't matter. Again, if he tweeted his thoughts on The Odyssey, you would criticize him anyway. Second, he didn't say he couldn't tweet. God, I can't believe I have to explain this. It's so sad you actually think you're making a good point, and not look like a pathetic artist who has to be explained how normal people act. Generally, people who are on vacation have less time to spend on their phones, which means they have less time to deal with pond scum such as yourself. And notice the examples he gives. Comparing those examples to something that requires a little more effort. Not to mention, had Drinker even seen The Odyssey at that point? Again, the fact that Birdman can't see why he looks like a pathetic unhinged loser just shows what kind of person he is. I mean, just listen to how fucking entitled he sounds.
It's obvious that he was hiding from the success of The Odyssey and using the pretense of being on vacation as a reason not to pick up his cell phone and type a couple words.
And what is your evidence for this?
You got nothing, or you would have shown me now.
One of the grifters that responded to me was Yellow Flash, and here we get to the first of the things I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Flash and I go back and forth on Twitter a few times, throwing jabs at each other until one of my audience members posts a meme in one of the comment threads. This meme is now deleted, but the core idea of the meme was that grifters should get beat up.
Notice Birdman says nothing about this. You would think if he disagreed he would say so, since Birdman loves giving his opinion. Instead he plays it down, and since he's echoed this sentiment before, I think he agrees, which again is fucking pathetic, especially given how much of a crybaby Birdman is, and the fact that he has this comment section where you have to be subbed a week to comment. What a bitch.
Flash responds to that tweet with something along the lines of, "You don't have the gas." He was basically insinuating that my audience member was fat and out of shape and basically couldn't handle him in a fight. I remind you, it was a fucking meme. Here's where I jump in to point out that Yellow Flash is also a guy that is out of shape. To prove this, I Google Yellow Flash 2 real face. Google Images pops this up. The first 4 results are all Reddit results, the first and fourth of which are showing a man's face. I click the first and fourth link and they take me to the same Reddit thread that is over a year old.
A few moments later.
This is because it turns out this image was not of Yellow Flash, which immediately causes him to quote tweet and proclaim that I did exactly what Angry Joe apparently did, and posted the same image of a person who was not Yellow Flash, but of an apparent regular guy who Flash met and who is suffering from cancer. In response, I screenshot the Reddit thread to show my source. This screenshot had a name and a general area. This caused Flash's fans and people who literally follow my Twitter account around just to hate.
He's so silly. He's so silly. He's so funny and silly.
To say that I doxed a man suffering from cancer.
Anyway, Birdman does what he does. Rather than just take the L and apologize for making a mistake, he copes and says it wasn't doxing. Which, even if that is true, you still got the wrong image and involves someone who had nothing to do with your little slap fight. An innocent bystander. You would think a professional victim who gets offended for a living would do the bare minimum and say I'm sorry to the cancer survivor and show some humility and contrition. But nope, he dances around it and tries to say just enough to appear as if he said he's sorry without actually having to say it, because that would shatter his fragile ego. No, he would rather nitpick about the definition of doxing, which his whole defense is, it wasn't intentional.
I don't see it. It's not illegal.
You see, Sherlock Holmes used all his cunning wits and brain power, along with all the tools at his disposal.
I read through the thread and find zero pushback on the fact that this may not be him. I then perform a Google search on the name that is listed in that thread, and Google's AI confirms the name as Yellow Flash's name.
You see that? That's a stupid bitch.
Then, as if to make Birdman look even more like a fucking pathetic clown, he just makes shit up.
Flash is the only source for the claim that the person in the photo has cancer because Flash apparently met that guy. So this entire time, a guy who has all the incentive to lie is the only source for the claim the man in that photograph has cancer. Until Flash posts actual evidence that this man is suffering from cancer, we can treat this claim as dubious at best. It would make sense for him to make up a story about cancer to make anyone sharing this image sound worse. Now, I freely admit that's a theory, but until Flash provides solid evidence, it seems to me he's using cancer to weaponize empathy against anyone sharing an image of a man that kinda looks like him.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
That's right, the guy who used to make videos on conspiracy theories, like flat earthers just make some bullshit up without evidence. Saying without evidence Yellow Flash made it up. What a fucking retard.
Some real losers are attempting to spread a claim about the safety of my Discord server, more specifically, that it's unsafe for minors. Now, this one makes me laugh because of how ridiculous it is, but I'll try to be at least half serious. Ever since I started the Exposing the Grift series, I've had these smaller, unknown creators taking shots at me in their futile attempt at making a name for themselves. I've even dunked on a few of them. But they have been restless in their attempt at finding a gotcha on me, so much so that they've taken to invading all of my social media platforms and spying.
Peekaboo, you fucks you.
And waiting for a slip-up. And they think they found one this time.
You can say that again, pal.
Okay, now for the serious shit. God, the fucking lack of self-awareness to say this. A guy who made it his mission to take down Drinker, and all the people who don't suck off Hollywood, and who got mad at Drinker for not posting enough, and invading your social media? Again, do you fucking hear yourself? Oh my god, there are these people that go on websites, where they voluntarily put up their information, and somehow this is spying. Again, this guy who thinks he's a tough guy, is trying to make the shit he shares spying.
My point is, at the point in which I created the server, I was a tiny creator with a tiny audience, but we were somewhat close-knit, being a smaller community. Back then, I basically knew everyone in my server, as these were the hardcore fans I'd gained up to that point. These were people I spoke to all the time on my channel and on Twitter, some of whom were my actual real-life friends. Needless to say, these people were all adults, and they all knew me and what I was about.
Very interesting.
In a Reddit post, YouTuber Th3Birdman has responded to my previous upload. He did not take the opportunity to open up about what he must know I've found, and so we'll only be going over this very quickly, before moving on to that. He essentially decided to say that when he claimed that all the people who joined his server at the start were known to him, and they were all adults, he was speaking in generalities, and he wasn't lying when he said they were all adults, because he always makes sure he doesn't know if they are or not. Alright man, I'm not even going to bother getting into that one. He does mention that the mod he appointed when they were 14 once asked him if he knew his age. I'd like to suggest if you got someone you put into a mod position asking you, hey, do you know how old I am? Should probably be a little bit of an uh-oh moment. But it doesn't matter because Birdman moves on to talk about his position on minors as mods in general. To Th3Birdman on Discord, age is a number. Like, actually, for real, that's what he said. Age is a number.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Big mistake. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Big mistake.
He doesn't care how old you are if you want to be a mod, so long as you do the job well. I feel there's something a little bit whack about having rules in place specifically to protect underage users that will be carefully monitored and enforced by underage mods. Is that not nuts? Am I going crazy? Why the hell would anyone say this ever?
He's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a fucking moron.
Now this looks really fucking bad. I mean, did you seriously type out, age is a number and not think to yourself, wow, I sound like a Vito Giswaldi. Slow down there, Woody Allen. How are you gonna defend the creepers in your Discord next? By saying the heart wants what the heart wants? What are you gonna do next? Debate age of consent? With Vosh Destiny and Southpaw? What are you gonna make the stupid argument that people's brains don't fully develop until they're 25? I mean, seriously, what the fuck are you doing? I only knew it was a matter of time before something like this bit Birdman in the ass. Jeremy is right. The people who preach the loudest always have the most to hide. Not to mention, couldn't the people you criticize just respond to your grifter videos? Who cares? It's just words. It's just a video. It's just sounds. That's just as valid a response as saying age is just a number. And it has the benefit of not sounding sus as fuck. I mean, it sounds like something John Hibbert would say.
If I should die, I just want you to know that they might find some things. Strange things. Things that don't make sense to you.
Okay.
And there's going to be a lot of talk. Nasty talk. And I just want you to know, from me, it's all going to be out of context.
I don't know what that means.
It means if I die, you gotta burn my house down!
And then there's the whole Domino's thing, which compared to the other shit is pretty trivial, but it's still funny. When Domino's fucked up, Birdman tries to act like some great injustice happened to him. Everyone has had a fast food chain fuck up something. It's not a big fucking deal. It's a nothing burger. And the fact that you made it a big deal, and tried to use Twitter to act tough for brownie points, just shows what an entitled, delusional little brat you are. Anyway, that's all I have for today, but I'm sure the Birdman saga isn't over. I'm sure another terrible defense is coming soon, although depending on whether or not he's putting up a good defense. If he thinks he's cooking, it will be in a video, but if he thinks he's cooked, it will be on Twitter, or Reddit, or on his Discord, just like his pathetic response to the Otterly Noah debacle.
Inside every critic, there are three griftly bears. One makes videos criticizing Drinker, the second plagiarizes the first, and the third loves terriers and soys over it for half a decade. Which one wins?
I think they all lost.
Yeah. Oh, God. Follow-up question. If Peter Parker did a triple backflip, punched his bully across the hall, and shot Spooge from his wrist, would you destroy your friendship over it? I know you would.
Me and Drinker have been through many debates, and yet we are still somehow friends. I don't know what it is. It must be because he pays me.
It's crazy. It's possibly because we're both not autistic retards.
What?
As well.
Take that back. I have earned my autism.
You are autistic, but you're not a retard, so I'll give you that.